So Gabriela, Jai Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Welcome, welcome. We're so happy to have you for this session. Where are you from originally? Where did you grow up? And
I was born in Lima, Peru, as well as my parents were original from Peru.
well, I know you must have some great stories to share, so go ahead and start anywhere. We'd love to hear them.
Well, first of all, my salutations to everyone, and I would like to share some Swami's experiences. I will start to mention that in 1993, I started knowing about Sri Sathya Sai Baba. Was reading my first book, My Baba and I, by Dr. Hislop. I was very impressed reading that book. Swami mentioned that to him that anything you mention with love and devotion, it became a mantra. You can say Sai Ram, you can say anything. So for me, it was easy to repeat Sai Ram. So the following day, I got up, I started mentioning mentally, taking my breakfast, and driving to my job. Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram. I used to work in one of the parks of Disney in Florida. And what happens is that I was in the store as a cashier, counting the money back to a customer, when I felt somebody was looking at me and stopped the transaction and looked, and it was Swami standing there, looking at me and having a very sweet smile in his face. So I tried to finish the transaction, to go and reach him, but he disappeared.
You know, it's a very rare thing for Swami to appear for someone like that. Had you ever seen anything like that before? Any kind of angels, or did you ever have any other visions?
No, I never got that kind of experience at all. He didn't appear as a picture. I saw him, his real body, wearing his orange robe and smiling at me and moving his face a little bit, like he used to say, do.
That's so wonderful. And was that actually the first morning that you had started doing Namasmarana on his name?
Yeah, well, since the night before, when I was reading that book, I was very impressed how simple he was, he said, as long as you pronounce with love and devotion to God, you can use any mantra. And also you can say Sai Ram, but deep from your heart. It was for me very, very amazing situation. That made me think on the possibility of quitting my job and start going to the Sai Center, because having that position in Disney, I couldn't have the weekends off. I arrived back home, and for my surprise, I saw in my front door a letter attached, and that letter was from the administration of the apartment complex that we were living, offering me a position at the office. It was incredible, because very convenient for me to change for going to work and a few steps from home. And instead of driving over an hour to go to work, working with in the office, the manager was very gentle, and yeah, it happened one Sunday that it was my day off. We went to pay the rent, and she was attending us. And when David pulled out his wallet to take the check out, she was looking at David's wallet, and she asked him to let her see that picture. And of course, David handed it to her, the picture of Swami. And when she got the picture in her hand, she started crying, and she couldn't content, and she just moved around and continued crying and crying and crying until she could talk. When she could talk, she started saying, "He is God, He is God, He is God." And we were big time surprised why she's saying that. And we just wait until she said, "I would like to tell you why I'm sure what I'm saying, that He is God." And starting telling us that then when she was a little girl, she got 2 rows of front teeth. And going at that time at the school, her classmate used to make fun of her and mocking all the time, making her very unhappy and crying every night at home.
So it was like a deformity. You're saying she had two rows of teeth instead of one row of teeth?
Instead of 1 row, yeah.
Okay, so she was crying because of that, because the kids were making fun of the
Sure.
deformity. Okay.
It happened one night that she was very, very sad, and she started crying and praying to God for his help in this physical condition that she got. And she was praying and praying and crying to him, and until she fell asleep. So the following day, she got up and went to the bathroom for her daily cleansing. And when she was brushing her teeth and looked at the mirror, for her surprise, she saw that she only had 1 row of front beautiful teeth in her mouth. And immediately she remembered the dream that she got the last before. And it was exactly the same God as the picture of Swami that she was handling at that time in the office. When David handled the picture, she was very sure that he was God, because when she was little, she saw him in the dream as God. And he performed that miracle to her, changing completely the 2 rows to 1 row of beautiful teeth.
And what happened in the dream?
Well, she remembered that God told her, don't worry about it, everything will be okay, and she never saw him again until she got the picture of Swami on her hand. She immediately remembered that who he was. That was, she was saying, very sure that he's God, he's God, he's God.
And what was the lady's name?
Lil, and her last name was Artura. She was descended from Italian, even though she was from New York, but her parents were from Italy.
Okay, so that all happened in New York when she was a child, but all those years ago she had seen Swami in the dream as God, but she didn't know who he was and she didn't know his name.
She never forgot him. You know, the image of Swami was forever in her mind, but she never got the opportunity to encounter in this physical plane.
So just remarkable, really, this whole thing. This lady as a child has this deformity, calls out to God to help her, and she has this dream with Swami. He fixes the deformity in her mouth, and then it goes 50, 60 years before she ever sees his picture again, only when David pulls out his wallet to pay the rent. Thank you so much for sharing this with us, Gabriela. Jai Sai Ram.
Say that.